welcome to all to St. John's Church. We have come here today to remember before God our sister Florence.
And the stars which thou hast made, ordained. Sorry, I'm reading from my mind instead of from the book. What is man that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of Man that thou visiting him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor.
This passage is from Titus 2 because it reflects Mum's life of giving advice, of putting people right. I dare say that there'll be many of us here who've been put right at some stage by Mum, and this scripture seems to reflect that. Titus 2, I'll read the first few verses. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. The aged women likewise, that they behave as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their husbands, even though I don't know if she always followed that way. That the word of God be not blasphemed. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded in all things, showing thyself a pattern of good works, in doctrine, showing uncorruptedness, gravity, and sincerity.
Matriarch. A matriarch is a head of a household, a head of a family. And that's who my mother was. My mother had a connection with all the children that she came into contact with. She had such a connection, such a wisdom, and I've often wondered, when Mum goes, right, who is going to carry the mantle? Right? And as we all tend to have the same question. And it came to my realization that that there is no mantle to carry. The mantle with my mother has been broken. Right? She's left us, however, a legacy, right, of how she was, so that we, as her children, can carry our own mantles and become to the best of our abilities. She took our first foster child, who was Clive, and led the way to so many other people taking foster children. So many children passed through so much counsel, so much strength, so much love. That's who Mum was. That's just who she was. I'm going to miss her dearly, as I'm sure all of you will.
Words fall short of what Nana was to me. She was my counsellor, my teacher, my confidant, my corrector, my inspiration, and my best friend. She was wise and always used her words to encourage us all and support others. Watching a movie with Nana always made me laugh. She would need a running commentary to what was happening, and after every dramatic scene would ask, "Him dead?" Nana loved her family. She was very protective and territorial over us all. She was proud to tell everyone about us and show the pictures on the wall of her generations. When anything big happens in my life, she is one of the first people I call. The void she left will never be filled, and it pains me that she won't be here to share the next chapter of my life. As I've always said, it's important that the struggles Nana went through to make it in this country isn't done in vain. We were encouraged not to be okay, but to thrive. It is now down to us all to keep her legacy and keep pressing on to make her proud.
God looked around his garden and he found an empty place. And then he looked down upon the earth and saw your tired face. He put his arms around you and lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best. He saw the road was getting rough and the hills were hard to climb, so he closed your weary eyelids and whispered, "Peace be thine." It broke our hearts to lose you, but you didn't go alone, for part of us went with you the day God called you home. We love you, Nana.
She's always had a positive approach to anything. You can come to her with something negative and it turns out to be, "Oh, nah, right, I'm going to go and do this." You know, you find some way forward. My nan was someone I could always come to. Sometimes I'd often hear her say, "Stop your noise," when I come with some of my silly things that I'd say to her. She wanted me to be positive in life and always try, even if I'd fail. She believed I could be anything I wanted to. I just had to believe, as she did, out of my nan's bits, and I just wanted to know.
Was an amazing woman. She not only gave us love, she also fostered as well. Two of the sisters that she fostered for her life was Ruth and Madeline. And Ruth, she went to live in Australia, and when she heard about the news, she wrote a tribute. "My sister and I were placed in Auntie Flo's care when I was 12 years old and my sister was 11 years old. It was a difficult period for my sister and I because we were really broken children that needed lots of love and attention. Auntie generously shared her family with us, and we would often see the extended family, Uncle Robert and Auntie Cynthia on a weekly basis, Auntie Claudette, Uncle Paul, aka Naughty Uncle Grandpa, Lennox, Glenn, Monica, and all of their children. They quickly became our extended family, and they took us under their wings and were so nice to us. For the 2 years we were with Auntie Flo, she was the perfect person to care for us. We would often sit in a room for hours at night describing our past and our current issues at school. Until meeting Auntie, no one had ever told me I was beautiful. She would say, I can't speak Jamaican well. You don't have any sores upon your body or face. She would reiterate the importance of education, self-love, and to be independent. And I now teach my children those very same values. Auntie Flo was an exceptional human that touched so many people's lives. She was funny, strong, and didn't take any crap from anyone. In those 2 years, she shaped two impressionable, insecure girls and helped to shape us into the women that we are now. I want to thank her again for that, for the millionth time, Thank you, Auntie. We love you.
I used to go in the kitchen, I used to watch her cook, and I used to cook the same thing, but it never quite tastes the same. So she used to show me what she do with the onion and the little spices. So after a while, I picked it up, and I think you all know that I've pretty much got it now. But yeah, we used to talk about everything with Gran, didn't hold back anything. We talked about school, we talked about family, we talked about girls, and then later on we talked about fiancé and wife. So Gran was my go-to, we talked about everything. But yeah, and I used to bring Gran takeout. I know Auntie Marcy used to cook her food for the last how long, every single pretty much a day she used to take care of her. But every now and again I ring Gran, it's like, I'm eating Gran, she's like, I have some food, but what have you got? So I'll sneak her some sweet and sour chicken or something. She's like, don't tell Auntie Marcia. And then later on when we used to bring the kids to the house, I think everybody knows the snack cupboard, all the grandchildren, so they used to come in, and even before they said hello to Gran, they're going straight to the snack cupboard. But yeah, Gran loved us all, and she loved to talk to us all, and she loved all of us, the kids, the grandchildren, and she was very special to us. She was a friend, she was, I don't know, she's a space that will be very hard to fill, but it's a memory that will live on. Rest in peace, Gran.
It's been an honour and a privilege to call Florence Clarke my grandmother. It has been a true honour and a privilege. And as Roberta said before, she's taught us a lot of things and taught her own children a lot of things, and those things have been passed on to us. I am the woman I am today because of Florence Clarke and because of how she raised her own siblings and what they've instilled and invested back in us. The most important gift that she shared with us was the love of Christ. And I know that the majority of us have given our life to Christ, we're committed to Him. And it's because of that testament of a great woman who taught her children who God was, to pray, to commit themselves to Him, and they in turn taught their children.
Mom's been this kind of great influence. I remember children used to run and buy sweets and such. Growing up, we used to buy things like egg and flour. We used to bake. We used to cook. Because we were emulating our mother. I baked my first wedding cake at 12 years old. I baked for royalty. And this is all because of the trait that mother's presented to me. She's left a profound legacy, and I feel honored and privileged to be her son.
I never felt like a stepdaughter. I felt like I was her daughter because she treated me as though I was her blood daughter. One girl. In our family, she was mom, sister, aunt, nan, foster mom, and so much, much more. As she drew close to her those she loved and who loved her. She embraced all of us into the wider family unit, caring for each with the tender love only an exceptional mother can give. On arrival from St. Catherine in Jamaica in 1963, Florence worked tirelessly and amongst much adversity to ensure each of her 6 children, who were still at home in Jamaica, could join her as quickly as possible. No matter the circumstances, she got on with what was needed to be done, using her creativity and entrepreneurship to forge her way through. Yeah. For example, when she did not have enough money to buy meat, her seasoned cabbage was to die for. Her children thought it was a special treat. And I remember her when it was movie night and there was no money to go to the cinema. Movie night was in the house with popcorn, homemade popcorn.
Go on, girl.
Florence may not have enjoyed a university degree in fashion and design, but she could give any university graduate a run for their money. Money may have been tight in the years gone by, but standards were high. Her heart was huge for the lonely or the lost, those who needed counsel and guidance, which was always delivered in a spirit of love and fairness. Whether you liked it or not, you would always hear the truth. I personally remember thinking, I can't tell her that over a particular incident, only then to find myself pouring out all the details as though someone had just opened a tap and everything was gushing out. That was who she was. She liked nothing more than matchmaking and would do everything to ensure members of the family and her single friends were suitably partnered. And so the wedding planning and the marriage guidance would begin in her front room. There was nothing Florence's children were not taught to do. Sewing, knitting, baking, cooking, plaiting, DIY, she taught her children and grandchildren well enough for them to pass on the skills to their own children. Florence had mastered the art of instantly switching from patois to the Queen's English. She could be disciplining her children in her native tongue the way only Jamaicans can do, and following a knock at the door or the need to take a phone call, instantly change her tongue back to speak impeccable English as though she had been educated at the best ladies' public school. Florence enjoyed the company of her sister Frida. They did so much together and were truly best friends. She woke up daily to the tender attention of her daughter Marcia, who always knew what she should be doing that day and made sure things were done properly. Robert and Paul made her their priority with faithful weekly visits and attention to her many instructions. Although Lenny was in America, he beamed in regularly by video link, updating her on his progress and activities. Glenn has continued to show her love and was always glad to see her despite his illness. She has never stopped missing her daughter Claudette, who died 6 years ago, and she treasured her visits from myself, Nigel and Ben, who would regularly travel from Birmingham to surprise her. These were highlights for her, as she did not get out much in recent years. She loved the visits of her many grandchildren and great-grandchildren, far too many to name, although she always said she never saw them, even if they had visited only the previous day. The ways in which she touched so many lives will remain, And so today, in sharing the joy and pain together, we lessen the pain and remember more clearly the joy of a life well lived. Florence Clarke, seamstress, fashion designer, trailblazer, diva, homemaker, interior designer, DIYer, baker, cook, financial consultant, relationship counsellor, therapist, life coach, matchmaker, women's advocate, carer, healer, spiritual advisor, educator, diplomat, befriender, best friend. The void you have left is deep and wide. It is so very hard to say goodbye, although we like to think you will be having a great party with Claudette and Uncle James, who went on to be with the Lord before you. Dear Aunt Flo, you have touched all our lives so very deeply. You taught to each one of us what is really important in life. To live good, to be positive, to be happy, to love, support and care for each other, to stand in unity, to live out our faith. Your legacy of togetherness and love will live on with all of us. We celebrate your life and we give God thanks for you. Until we meet again, may you rest in eternal peace.
God says to us, to all of us, come unto me, all you that are in need, my yoke is not heavy. If you come into relationship with me, your life in some way will become lightened, clearer. Which is why I went on to read that other passage, by the way, of Jesus in the cornfield, where he breaks the rules in order that people are fed. And I think we've already heard that though Florence gave advice about rules you should keep, she was perfectly capable of breaking the rules, including access to the snack cupboard. But it was that intimacy of those moments that I would treasure, not as a member of her family blood, but of the family of Christ, because that's how I felt I was greeted, and that is the communion that we shared together. And we were joined on many occasions by people who would arrive, because of course I could not but be aware of how many people would visit, because Florence's house was, and the time I knew her, yes, she was frailer, also not able to come to church, but you as family and as community went to her. You did not neglect her. That was true in my last encounter at our hospital bedside, surrounded by the love of family and beyond family. For what's that distinction? Because you will know better than I that if you came into her family, you became her family. That wonderful sense, I think, of Christian discipleship, that God's love is to be shared with all who encounter. Florence represents the best of Christian discipleship. And if we are, as family and Christ's family, to continue to draw strength from Jesus and his invitation, come unto me, I know that we will too draw strength from the discipleship of the human being, Florence, mother, matriarch, aunt, whatever, however you knew her. Continue to draw from her example as we make our way in this world, honouring her and sharing God's love with all who we meet.
Be at rest once more, O my soul, for the Lord has been good. Be at my soul, be at rest once more, for the Lord has been good to you. Be at rest once more, oh my soul, for the Lord has been good. Be at rest once more, oh my soul, be at rest once more, for the Lord has been good to you. For you, O Lord, have delivered my soul from death, my eyes from tears, and you, O my feet from stumbling. Be at rest once more, oh my soul, for the Lord has been good. Be at rest once more, oh my soul, be at rest once more, for the Lord has been good to you. Be at rest once more, for the Lord has been good to you.
If I walk in the pathway of duty, if I work to the close of the day, Lord, I shall see the great King in all his beauty. When I've gone the last mile of the way, Lord, yes sir. When I've gone the last mile of the way, when I've gone the last mile of the way, I shall rest at the close of day. I shall rest at the close of the day. For I know there is joy awaiting me. I've gone the last mile.
Earth to earth, dust to dust, ashes to ashes.
I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? A band of angels coming after me, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home.
our last I love yous as we held each other tight, with years of tender feelings overflowing from our eyes. Now here I am with memories, all alone with no regrets, and that's as good as goodbye gets. You did a lot of living as you walked these earthly miles. It's funny, though I'm crying, still somehow I have to smile, 'cause your life, your love, your laughter touched everyone you met, and that's as good as goodbye gets. There's a deep, deep sadness that comes with letting go. But even though I'm grieving, there is peace, and there is hope, 'cause everyone who knew you knew the heartbeat of your days. Your eyes were fixed on Jesus. Now you're finally face to face, and I'll meet you there in heaven when my last sun sets, and that's as good as goodbye gets. Yeah, that's as good as goodbye gets.